And DT Listener says, I support increased representation of all minorities in the media. I've just finished episode 5, and black actors seem to be making up the majority of the cast. I haven't read the source material, so unless it's black and queer, these changes are a distraction in my humble opinion. Well, first of all, if you ain't read the source material, it shouldn't be that much of a distraction.
Exactly.
How's a distraction get something you don't even know?
Why does it bother you?
I mean, come on, man. That's kind of suspect right in the beginning. If you don't know the source material, that means something else is bothering you. Double Toasted live in Las Vegas. That's going to be October 8th, and tickets are finally available. x1entertainment.com/double-toasted. Doors open at 6 p.m. Meet and greet and cocktail hour to happen promptly afterwards. So the after party is going to be in the same venue. I think it's like 2 minutes away from the Strip. It's going to be a fun show. It's going to be a night of comedy, music, games, and as you see, the after party. We're going to have Tone Royal open for us. Going to come out and do our thing. Get your tickets now. I'm going to attach something to this discussion real quick. It's an email, and I usually take a break between emails.
Email time.
Yeah, email time.
Email time in the review.
Yeah, it's going to put it in the review. So if you don't mind, I'm not going to, what here?
I'll allow it. Martin, I'll allow it.
No.
I'll allow Corey to do this.
No.
You're very generous.
Yeah, I know.
Email time. No, there you go. I'll with Corey and Chris.
Martin.
See how many people I usually save email time for a commercial break. But I have email time for this segment right here because I have an email that's related to this segment. And I would like to hear what you guys got to say about it. Email. So let me see if I can find this email here. And it should not be too far. There we go. There we go.
That's perfect.
It is from someone who is simply called DT Listener.
Okay.
And very interesting question here. A little lengthy, but I'll see if I can sum it up. And the reason why I'm reading this is because it is about the Sandman. And DT Listener says, I support increased representation of all minorities in the media, but I'm talking about a big black butt. But your black ass. But he didn't say but. He didn't say
okay.
He said, however.
It's the same thing.
It's just the more.
It's a longer version.
A pompous version.
Yeah, exactly. It's the more sophisticated way to say but. But he says, however, I think the Sandman series has gone too far. This isn't about gender or race bending characters. Women outnumber man after all, and minorities exist. But I've just finished episode 5, and black actors seem to be making up the majority of the cast. Where all these coming from?
Where do you guys keep popping up? I don't understand this.
What are you doing in here? The problem is black people make up only 3% of people in the UK and 12% in the US. And there are more Asians and Hispanics in each country, but according to the show, they don't exist / are rare. Also, why are all the relationships homosexual? Why do you do each other in this? I haven't read the source material, so unless it's black and queer, these changes are a distraction in my humble opinion. Well, first of all, if you ain't read the source material, it shouldn't be that much of a distraction.
Exactly.
How's a distraction get something you don't even know?
Why does it bother you?
I mean, come on, man. That's kind of suspect right in the beginning. If you don't know the source material, that means something else is bothering you.
Yeah, you kind of played yourself there.
Kind of walked into that one.
Yeah. Hey, look, man. It's a fair question, but these are fair answers. Okay. First of all, let me address this. First of all, you use the term woke. That's how you open email.
When you use that word is just, it's meaningless now. Because people apply it to everything, whether there's a woman or a minority in any.
I would go so far as to say it's not so much meaningless as that when you use it, you kind of brand yourself.
Yeah.
Because you let everybody know where you're coming from. And it's not where you're trying to come from.
The title of the email, he didn't use it in the email, but the title of the email that he sent me is Sandman Too Woke. So first of all, you start out.
Is that a pun?
Yeah.
YouTube video title.
It is. Maybe I'll take it. I'll probably steal it. First of all, you use the term woke, man, which already kind of turns me off because, as most people who use the term, it usually comes around to they just don't like change. So and again, it's just a shorthand way to have a discussion. Again, it's already laying out feelings before we even get into a meaningful discussion about it. But still, a fair question. I haven't read the source material either, so that's why I didn't really judge this by anything. When I show Death here, who I think some people have had a problem with the race swapping in that. When they showed Death, my question was, I didn't say, damn, why is this black person in here? I said, I could understand if people might have a problem with race swapping, but explain to me how that changes the character before we get into anything. Because, listen, if changing the character's race has in some way changed the character, the essence of the character, the personality of that character, what made them in the original story. Now, if that's the case, then I see a problem. Because I would be a hypocrite if I didn't address my own problems with race swapping, which recently has been with a black person in Resident Evil. I thought that the race swapping, changing a certain character, Wesker, to black, was completely unnecessary, and to me, looked pretty stupid. Look, my problem with this is that they changed the character. And the character might not be a deep character. There's ain't a whole lot of substance to that character, but he is a villain that is iconic and a lot of fans know him. And changing him to a black dude that looks like a bad Blade cosplay, a dude that's a father.
Yeah.
It's not just black either. Changing him to a father drinking kombucha and all this I was like, come on, man, that was unnecessary. Why? And yes, why did you change him black? He looks ridiculous as being a black guy right there. He looks like, we were doing a Blade movie, that's fine.
I interpret it as stunt casting. They did it because they wanted to get a reaction. At least that's how I felt.
I figured they were excited that they could get Lance Reddick in the project.
Who is a great actor.
He's a great actor. He is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No problem with that.
Yeah,
But,
having him headline lends some legitimacy to the whole thing.
Just so let you know that I'm looking at both sides and trying to be on your point.
Sure.
That right there, I didn't like that. So if you have a problem with that character because it changed the essence of the character, then that's fine. Ghostbusters 2016. People want to call us sexist the moment we criticize this, but all they did, that was a great case of stunt casting right there, where they just stunt casted the crew, the Ghostbusters, as women, and then went and just kind of did a lame rehash of the original movie. There was no reason for them to cast that when Ghostbusters fans out there were giving great ideas and asking for a sequel, a proper sequel, whether it had the OG crew or not. So yes, I get your point, man. I get it. I 100% get it. But for what you're saying right here, for the example that you gave, which was population and all that, I kind of have a problem with that.
Demographic, I was like, that never even occurred to me watching the show.
But if changing a person's race, gender, sexuality doesn't change the character, but your problem is, which is pretty much you said, your problem is, I see too many blacks. That problem might be on you. And I'm going to tell you why. You are using population estimates and a census to justify your opinion when we're talking about a fantasy. We're talking about this ain't real life. Most of those black people talking about weren't even on Earth. They were in a magical realm. So what?
They have goblin ears. Some of them. They have elf ears.
Yeah, your chick, the first black person you see,
a librarian.
Oh, Lucian.
Yeah, she got little tiny Vulcan ears. So I don't understand. Trying to apply real world logic to something that's mostly fantasy. I just that doesn't really work for me.
Yeah. Plus, if you read through the comic, people come in two shades: white and chalky white.
Yes. Yeah.
That'd be boring to look at.
Listen, what you're doing, and hey, look, I ain't mad at you, I ain't jumping on you, but I'm gonna tell you how I see it. You see the certain, I'm gonna tell you how I see it. What you're doing is what a lot of people do, man. You're trying to use some figures to say that there's too many blacks, browns, too many women trying to be dudes. Why are these gay people up in here? You're trying to use real world figures when really what you're saying is you're just not used to seeing that kind of diversity. Maybe you don't think that you're intolerant. Maybe you don't think that you're racist. And I'm sure you're not racist or homosexual. Or you might be homosexual. I don't know. Homophobic. I don't think you're any of the isms or obes out there. Maybe not. But you are, in my opinion, right here, lending to it a little bit because you're just not used to it. There's a lot of people who see things that they're not used to seeing, and they don't know that they're kind of being that way. To give an example, when we started Double Toasted, somebody kept emailing me, and I just pretty much had to ignore them. They say, listen, I really want you to succeed. I really love what you do. And they were being sincere. They weren't trolling. Man, I love what you do. I want you to succeed. So don't take this the wrong way, but you need to hire more white people in front of the camera. Because, I mean, come on, man. Let's be honest. I mean, when people see too many black people, come on, they may turn away. And I just kind of like, you. What it is you're speaking more about yourself. You're used to seeing white people in certain positions, and it throws you off to see it mixed up, to see it changed. That's what it is. You just saw a whole lot of black people in fantasy. You ain't used to seeing that shit. Where these white elves at? Where these white dwarves and shit at? I'm not used to seeing that, and that is a problem that needs to be fixed. That is why I 100%, if they didn't change, and I can't say, if any of these characters would change and swapped and it affected their character, then please let me know. I'd love to hear it because, hey, I would understand. But there is a problem with fantasy right now. Fantasy is somehow, and it goes back to
decades. It goes decades.
It goes with people associating it with medieval times.
Sure.
Yeah.
Even when it's like other dream worlds and whatnot. Fantasy is often off limits to people of color because, again, people aren't used to seeing that, including black people. And that is why when I look at this, I say, it's not stunt casting. It's not being woke. What it is like trying to just change up things so people will start getting used to seeing this, and we can get diversity in an area that is lacking. And for years it was lacking with science fiction, and now we're kind of breaking the ground on that. Fantasy is that other frontier that needs to be broken in, man, because people like you aren't used to seeing that shit. That's just me. I don't know. Y'all.
No. I agree with everything you said.
And so it's a cut down on gatekeeping and people who weren't interested in fantasy, which probably a lot of people of color because they don't see themselves in those things at all. They're like, oh, that looks kind of cool. I'll check this out.
Yeah.
Or women, whoever.
You're using again. You are using real life numbers, population estimates, and census. In the census to talk about there's way too many black people in this fantasy world. But the talking pumpkin and the talking crow, oh shit, no, that's that works. That's fine. But 5 black people in the first few episodes, that's not realistic. Yeah. That's not realistic. We're talking about a magical world. Get out of here, man. No, I know you. I don't know what you thought you were gonna get with this answer, but no.
I think he got an answer.
You got the one you wanted. I don't know if it's the answer you wanted, but no.
Fine, I'll just go ask some other podcast.
Yeah. That's not realistic. All these black people in the Sandman. But that pumpkin head and that crow, hey, they're all right, man.
He can stay. The pumpkin man can stay.
Yeah, he can stay. The orange dude, he can stay. Out of here, man. Nah, I'm sorry, brother.